Hey everybody, I'm Benjamin, aka The Terrible Australian of Supermastery.com, and welcome to my video review of We Are Your Friends, which is the new drama starring Zac Efron. So let's get right into it. I'm going to be honest, I'm just going to put it right out the bat because, I didn't really think much of this film. And I know this film since its release, has basically, flopped at the box office and it has been very negatively reviewed by a lot of critics. But at the same time though, I'm one of those people who likes to sort of watch a film and judge it for themselves. And while I don't think it's as bad as everyone else has said, but that being said though, it's like I said at the very beginning of this video review, it's just there's nothing particularly memorable about this film, and to be honest, it's kind of forgettable as well. And it's not a badly made film. Like, it actually is quite solidly made, and the film is directed and co-written by Max Joseph. And if you don't know who he is, he's actually one of the co-hosts of the TV version of the film Catfish. So he hosts that show. So this is his directorial debut, I believe. So you can tell that he had this is a passion project for him, and a lot of that you can see in it, and because this film, of course, is about it's sort of an up-and-coming DJ played by Zac Efron who wants to sort of make it big, and then he meets this sort of well-known DJ played by Weston Bentley who kind of takes him under his wing, and then from there, sort of both the good and the bad things happen in his life, but the thing is though, the problem with the film is though, and besides being pretty average, is that it's very cliched and it doesn't really add anything that we haven't seen in other films in the past, like 20, 30, 40 years. So, like, there's a bit of sort of an 80s, like films from the 80s, 90s, like the story to this one just isn't anything new. And in that regard, that usually wouldn't bother me unless, the film itself is still, compelling and engaging and has characters that are interesting. But unfortunately though, I just didn't find the story interesting or the characters engaging. There was nothing in the film that sort of really latched onto me overall. And hence why I keep using the word forgettable, because it kind of is. Like, it's just something you watch and you basically forget about it like 5 minutes later. And like I said, it's not a badly made film, and the cast for most part were fine. Like, no great performances, but not any bad performances either. But I will say this though, and this is a film that's definitely a very bro movie. And what I mean by that, because you've got characters who keep saying "dude" and "bro" all the time. So, and if you're not a fan of films that are like that, or people who are like that, you're definitely not going to enjoy this film at all. But it's just, there's just nothing really good about this film. Like I said, it's watchable. Like, I wasn't bored or anything while I was watching this film. It's just, there's just nothing particularly memorable or special about it. And also, there are things that sort of happen in this film that kind of just happen. Like, in the sort of third act, a tragedy happens that kind of comes out of nowhere. And I'm just sort of sitting there myself like, was that really necessary? It didn't really add anything to the movie. And it just brought sort of more cliches and whatnot. And although I will say, like I said, I will say this though, it was cool to kind of see Wes Bentley, because he's kind of been making a comeback the last few years, since, getting a key role in the first Hunger Games film. And he's sort of been popping up here and there in a lot of films as of late, in big films too. And it was kind of cool to see him in sort of a major role in this film. And also, John Bernthal is in this one as well, and in a small role, and he's quite good as well. And it actually is well made, and there actually are some pretty cool sequences in it. Like, there's one scene where Zac Efron is under sort of influence of drugs, and it's sort of how he sees the world from his point of view, and it's a kind of a really trippy kind of scene, but it actually looks pretty cool. Not that I condone, taking drugs or anything like that, but I mean, for a sequence like that, it actually was actually quite well done and pretty cool. And also the sort of how he sort of creates his sort of the dance music in the film is actually pretty cool too, and seeing how that works. And there's also a really good a scene that I actually quite like and found interesting is that how he sort of gets scientifically how he gets people to get on the to dance on the dance floor. And I thought in that little scene was actually pretty interesting. I don't know how accurate that part is, but it was actually pretty cool, and I got to give the film credit for that. So, like having these like really cool little elements in it here and there, but they're kind of few and far in between, and in a story that and script that are just pretty average and cliched, really. So, yeah, that's pretty much it with this film. There's just nothing really else to add. It's just one of those type of films that you just kind of forget about after when you watch it. So, but like I said, it's watchable, but just pretty average. So if I had to give We Are Your Friends a rating, I would give it about a 2.5. Like I said, there are some solid qualities to it, like some cool little scenes, and it's well made, and the cast were fine. But there's just a pretty forgettable film. What more can I say? Forgettable. So, yep, that's the end of my video review of We Are Your Friends. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later. See you, everyone.